Yo, what up, boys? This is Chris from Good Looking Loser, and we're talking about everybody's favorite device, the Bathmate. Now, as you can see from the title of this video, this is sort of a different use for the Bathmate, and that's preserving your male enhancement, penis enhancement gains that you've already made. And I think this device is absolutely great for that. And what I tell you today, as usual, but very specifically, comes from experience of what I did when I actually first got the Bathmate. Now, I've been doing male enhancement on and off, mostly off, to be honest with you, over the course of a decade. Straight up, I wasn't that committed to it, and only these days am I. I've been making like super gains lately anyway. But real quick, I started at about 5.25, 5.5. I really actually don't remember, but it was on the very modest size of average. Maybe average, depending on what surveys you take a look at. So by 2009, I got up to about 6.7 inches. Okay, inches, non-bone pressed. That's where you're not pushing the ruler in on the fat pad around your dick. So it's pretty much the most accurate measurement you can get. So 5.7. All right. So I got the Bathmate, and I was living in LA at the time, still am, but I was in a situation where I was living in a house with a bunch of other people, and it wasn't always practical, aside from also being lazy about it. It wasn't really practical to do male enhancement, the manual exercises like stretching and Jelqing on a regular basis. And maybe even if it was, I might not have, did that anyway, because I really have been on and off for it for years. So for 2009 and 2 months into 2010, 14 months in total, I just used the Bathmate. No manual exercises. Maybe I did it a few days out of the 14 months, but largely no Jelqing, no stretching. And I was at 5.5 by, 6.7 by 5.4. Okay, and the 5.4 is girth. As you know, certainly if you've used the Bathmate, you know it's super for girth. It's wonderful for girth. You get very quick instant gains, which are temporary, that will disappear from anywhere between like 4 and 24 hours. The more you use it, the longer it stays. But you'll get those instant girth gains. Those girth gains become permanent when you start using the thing on a consistent, regular basis. So I wasn't shooting necessarily for that, but I started using my Bathmate pretty much every other day, I would say. Sometimes it was just 2 times a week. Maybe sometimes it was 5 when I was having sex and stuff like that, prior to. So after about 14 months, I measured at 6.8 by 6, largely around the 6 in girth. So by those numbers, over 14 months with the Bathmate and just the Bathmate, I went up 1/10 of an inch in length and about a 1/2 inch or over in girth, which is very significant. Bathmate obviously is wonderful for penis girth. But the moral of the story is here. I didn't do any Jelqing, I didn't do any stretching, and I more than preserved my 6.7 by 5.4 length. Actually, like I said, I increased it 1/10 of an inch and about a 1/2 inch in girth, maybe even a little more, to tell you the truth. So I think this device is absolutely great if you've been doing, whether you have been or haven't been doing male enhancement through the years, the manual exercise, it will preserve your girth. And my formula, so to speak, for that is if you're not doing any Jelqing, you're not doing any stretching for whatever reason, you're lazy, you're in a situation where logistically you can't do it, whatever, you can snap the Bathmate on, in my opinion, 2 times a week and preserve all your gains. Now, if you used it every day, certainly you would gain. Okay, and if you haven't done any male enhancement before at all, and you pick up the Bathmate, you'll more than preserve your penis size. You'll gain, because newbies, whether they do Jelqing, stretching, size genetics, or Bathmate, you will get gains very quickly. It's just like if you're an untrained athlete and you go to the gym and you work out. In that first 6 months, so long as your diet's straight, you're gonna make solid gains, and after that, it's a little bit harder. But for you guys out there that are in that situation, or you're lazy, or you've lost motivation, or Jelqing boring and stretching is boring or whatever, you can snap on the Bathmate a couple times a week and you'll be sure pretty much not to lose any size. I think it's great for that. So, you know, if you're limited by time, you've done male enhancement, you want to keep your gains or potentially grow bigger, Bathmate's where it's at for that. I like it for one reason, because you only have to use it about 8 to 12 minutes. In my 14 months of just using the Bathmate, I'd say 8 to 10 minutes was my average session. I just kind of wanted to get that, you know, that girth pump before, you know, I like went out or whatever, or even if I wasn't going out, because it feels wonderful up against the side of your leg. And you know, if you've used a thing, you know what I'm saying about that. So you want to keep your gains, use the Bathmate, and you won't have to jelq, you won't have to stretch. Ideally though, jelq, stretch, Bathmate, and use an extender. You've heard, I recommend this one, Size Genetics. But you know, if you're doing with the most minimal plan ever, least effort possible to still make gains, it won't come as quickly, obviously, but it still will. At the bare minimum, you'll preserve your gains. Bathmate twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, it's all good.